I'll second. Go ahead.
Got 2 seconds.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, volunteer park grant update. That would be Mr. Houston.
Yes. So at the workshop, just a reminder, at the workshop a month ago, we talked about, an upgrade to the park on a 3-phase. First phase being play structures, the play surface, the picnic area up on the hill, and then a stairway down the hill to the play structures. Phase 2 is irrigation and grading of the grassy areas to get that ready for phase 3, which is to develop the northern part of the lot, which could be a pavilion, a small amphitheater for concerts, whatever, for events. With that said, I went in and got some budgetary numbers, and we need the budgetary numbers for the OPRD grant. We don't need exact numbers yet, but we need to have at least some ballpark numbers to be able to put on the application. And depending on how much we end up wanting to spend, the one deadline, or excuse me, the one grant is for under $100,000, and the deadline for that application, I think, is April 9, if I remember. And the other one, which is north of 100,000 and up to $1 million, is, I think, due April 30th. So we need to keep that in mind after you discuss some of these costs I have on here. So for the play structure, phase 1, for play structure, what you guys looked at, I think it was on the 19th, was similar to Geyser Park down in Baker. We wanted to put some sort of surface underneath the play structure. So a concrete slab, and figuring based on what you guys chose as the play equipment, it's $23,000 for a concrete slab. So that's based on a Google search that says a square foot of concrete slab is roughly $4 to $8 a foot. I used $8. Again, for the budgetary number, I used the highest amount. Charlie calculated it, I think, when we talked about it, and I think you came up with like 17,000 just for materials. So that 23 is probably a good number to have it installed as well. So then there's some rubber tiles that you can purchase. And we would need 725 tiles that are 2 by 2 by 2.5 inches thick. So you just lay them out, it's flooring basically. So we would need,
Interlocking.
I think they are, yeah.
So they look like Bigfoot. Yeah.
Well, no, these are all square, 2 by 2 foot by 2 foot square. So it wouldn't be jigsaw per se. Anyway, so that is roughly 35,000 just for the rubber tiles. And then I figured you probably need to grade it just to get it good and flat where all that stuff will go. And I put in 5,500. So a subtotal just for the surface of almost $64,000. Then the play structures, you guys chose one that apparently they no longer support. So I looked for one that would be similar, and that was $80,000.
What did that include, Matt?
$81,000. The
What-
same kind of stuff. It has a swing on it, it has the cognitive stuff, it has the slide, all that different stuff that kids could play in. And then the spin with me is the, the 20th century merry-go-round that's plastic, it's 4 seats, and there's a wheel in the middle. Kids can pull on it to go faster, slower, whatever they want to do. So that was $7,200. So for a total of $88,000 just for those structures. What I haven't put in here is costs for installing those. So if you look down to number 3 on the spreadsheet that I gave you, if we had volunteer work that could assemble that stuff, then it could be in kind. If that's the way we wanted to go. So anyways, the bottom line is 151,781 for just that one. And this is a
No,
reimbursement grant, which means we have to pay for all this stuff first before we can apply for the reimbursement. If we're awarded the grant.
Mhm.
So we have to put the money out up front. And I did notice on the play structure company that they did have funding options. So perhaps there's something to be worked out there. And or if we have, you know, some folks out there that want to donate.
yeah, we may have to look again at the different, what we were looking at, maybe.
Scale it
A
down.
little bit.
Yeah, and so for instance, and I mentioned this, maybe you don't do the concrete pad, maybe you do pea gravel.
Mhm.
And or if you could do sand, could you still put the tiles on it? Sand would still be fairly expensive, so you wouldn't save a whole lot of money going to sand underneath the tiles, but it could be something cheaper.
What about 3/4 minus compacted? Would that be stable enough?
Well, yeah, you could get it to where it would come back. And then put the tiles on top
And
of
put
it.
the tiles on top?
It would be stable for 1 year.
Well, that's what I'm wondering, if you would have too much.
I don't know, your driveway stays in a pretty good place.
Yeah, but all the experience that I've had with working with state parks and dealing with the walkways down to the dredge and how we compact all that stuff, it only lasts a year.
But you're talking about foot traffic and everything else that's on this, and there's not on this because
It's the heaving and stuff of the compaction and thawing of the
That's what
ice
I'm
and
wondering.
everything.
And I put a call into Baker City to see if whoever's in charge of parks could tell me what they did, because they actually have AstroTurf. But you can feel it's spongy, so you can feel there's some padding underneath it, but it's a whole very large area that they've got AstroTurf now.
And we had said the AstroTurf would be a nightmare just for maintenance because of the sap and the pine needles up here.
Not to mention it might be worse with cement, who knows?
Yeah.
It
Well,
might
that,
degrade
and
faster.
then also you get the wrinkles in it, you know, and then you get grandparents taking the kids out and tripping over it. None of them so worried about the kids falling down, they bounce, but the adults don't bounce no more.
So when was the deadline for over 1 million?
Over 100,000.
End of April
Or for over.
to get your application in.
I'm sorry. And the other one was April 10th.
Beginning of
million.
April. I think it's the 9th,
Okay,
but it
There was
might
that 100,000. There was
be
100.
less than 100,000.
and overs, yeah.
So, do we want to, do another workshop and look at, looking at the catalogs again, to kind of see?
Did Baker County get back to you on what they used on their, you know, have to find out who it is and find out what.
Well, I went on the website and it sounded like it was probably a community effort. But there was someone at the county, if you had questions, there was somebody at the city, the city,
Yeah.
that and I called that person twice and they haven't returned their call.
Mhm.
Lynn,
Yeah,
question?
yeah.
Do they still allow the chopped up little blocks of rubberized material? We looked at Prairie Cities here many years ago. If I remember correctly, they laid a concrete curb around the area and then filled that area up with that chopped up, I call them little rubber blocks. And that's their padding around the playground equipment.
There's a big issue with that.
Yeah, and I think,
Yes,
they-
sir.
I think they changed that when it came
Yeah, I was
through.
just wondering.
Yeah,
because-
when it came through, yeah, when it came
Because
through.
the state of California probably considers that carcinogenic.
Probably that and everything else,
Well, it is.
Prop 65.
yeah.
So what do you guys think? Do you want to look at the books again and see if where, I think I'd like to see it get down.
Well, the thing is, though, if you take and dissect what Matt's got for phase one,
Mhm.
because you could actually go out and get the playground equipment, get it here, and then get reimbursed for that. Then you can turn around and do what you gotta do to do the subway, right? And get, because that's gonna be a quick turnaround there.
How fast are they, do we know how fast they are on their reimbursement? We haven't done an ORPD, have we?
For the museum, it was fairly quick.
Yeah, it was, I thought it was just a little over a month and a half when we had the funds for the roof, wasn't it? Wasn't that the one?
It took a month and a half to get reimbursed.
Yeah, I want to say it wasn't that long.
It wasn't, it was fairly quick.
Yeah.
Because we had a Ford Foundation grant that paid the majority of that roof.
Mm.
So that was an outright, here's 25 grand. Whereas the OPRD part of it was a reimbursement.
I didn't think it was that
So
long.
we had to send them information and I want to say it was within a week or two.
Maybe it was.
You don't know if we want to invest that much money, like,
I think the
we
longest,
just want something for the kids to be able to have fun on, and, I don't know.
I don't know, but when you looked in the book, other than the one that we found, that was, you know, during that workshop, it would actually benefit and fit and do, and it's still expensive. Of course, like you said, with that one there you can't have, so basically you're probably getting pretty close to the same stuff, it's just price difference.
Yeah.
Huh?
And you know, the way I came up with the 2,900 square feet for the concrete pad was based on the recommendations from the company that sells it. So, do you have to follow that? I don't know. But maybe we could get away with a smaller concrete.
Was this all in one, I mean, they were all connected together, right, the place?
There were two structures. The main play structure would have all kinds of stuff,
Mhm.
and then
Yeah,
that
the little
spin with
little
me.
thing, yeah.
Yeah, there you
They
go.
The
were-
marigold.
We looked at so many of them, but.
Because I think the child catapult, I think, is on that one, along with the swings and the slide.
That's kind of scary, John.
Well, that's what it is.
I don't remember exactly,
I
but
think the old term was called a teeter totter.
yeah, oh,
Oh,
okay, yeah. Yeah, I don't think there was a teeter totter on.
No.
No, we got we
Did
did,
that one not have it?
no, that's why we got the
Roundabouts.
round thing instead of.
And those spin around ones, they also have those that are sort of like a teeter totter, where, you know, if there's 4 kids on there, they can all change their
Walk
weight
and roll.
and they kind of, yeah. But what we looked at was you know,
But just go round and
the
round.
kids, all 4 kids grab a disc in the middle and rotate it and it makes you go
It was
faster
just
and faster. Yeah,
Did your 2,900 square feet include both pieces of play equipment?
correct, yeah.
So we could downsize that and just get one piece for right now?
Yep.
And,
I mean,
Yeah.
if you don't get the spin with me, you're only saving $8,000.
well, you're saving on have the 2,900 square feet too,
True.
But that
but
spin with me is what?
it just gives us one piece of forward.
Yeah, I forget the individuals. Sorry,
It's only like 6 or 8 feet across, isn't it?
I think so.
So you're not talking a lot of concrete.
Well, they were pretty generous with what they were recommending.
That'd be nice to, Baker City call us back about that, so we know what they were using, so we'll have to probably have.
Yeah, I'll try again.
Yeah, because we're on a short.
I mean, even if I have to, I'll go down there and see if I can talk.
So yeah, why don't we, see if you can talk to them and then, set up a workshop to,
Sure.
look at it and see maybe, we can tweak what we wanted
Okay.
a little bit.
But the thing is, those,
Well, I
do
mean,
we have to get,
it's gonna be right, I mean, it's gonna be a right away, it's not gonna be.
okay, because like I said, because Matt needs to know
Yeah.
if he wants to put him in position.
I can do all the fluffy stuff on the application now, but when it comes down to, sending in the application, it's gotta have this
Everything,
budgetary
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, when we talked about other stuff with Ron before, he doesn't have a problem with reimbursement grants. It's just that we just need to make sure that it's coming. It's something that we can't spend money for and then wait 3 months or 6 months before we
Yeah.
get reimbursed for.
And usually on reimbursement grants, you don't have to wait till the project's completed
Mhm.
to get some
Correct.
level of funding.
Mhm.
So you buy the equipment, you pay for the equipment, you submit the,
So we could actually order this, for instance, the playground equipment, we could order it, pay for it, submit that, And before the equipment even gets here, we may get paid for it before it gets here.
Yeah,
Something in
depending,
that-
depending on how the grant works and that specific funding mechanism, there are even some where you don't even pay the bill until you get reimbursed.
Oh, serious.
Some of them require you to pay the bill. It just depends.
Okay. So that would be another wonderful question to find out.
Yeah.
Because if that works, then, but you know, the biggest thing is though, is you just know what you're getting, but I think for us as council sitting here for the city of Sumter, I think the best thing to do though is take what you have already for Schedule 1 and just kind of dissect that and get stuff here. Because you don't want to go take out what we already have, put in, whether it's a slab, pea gravel, whatever.
Yeah.
Get the surface done, and then you twiddle your thumbs until after everything else gets here. Because then we have nothing down there and everything to where if we say, because in my opinion, the first thing that should be done is get the playground equipment here. Because then you'll know how to get it set up, you know if everything's got sockets or whether or not it's gotta be fixed.
Yeah.
In what, because I don't care, I'm sure that this stuff here is gonna recommend concrete to be concreted in, not just a hole dug in the ground. To get that in.
Well, I was thinking at the very least, they may want you to pour a pier, pier block.
Right.
And
Something
then
around,
set it up.
something that's a base that's just getting mounted to it. But you'll know how it's recommended to be mounted and everything, so you'll get the engineering plans when you purchase it, I'm sure, just like we do with the building. But that's the biggest, most expensive thing right off the bat, is getting the playground equipment and getting it here.
So Matt, if we set a workshop up for like April 24th, that would be the next day of the council, so we could vote on it from there.
Sure.
That's to give you enough time to
I think so.
go look down and.
April?
Yeah,
Well, I can work
I mean,
on
March
March.
24th. And then if, you can meet that April 9th.
I think that should work. I gotta check with my scheduler at home. just to
Yeah, I
make
know.
sure.
Does that work for you guys?
Yeah.
Okay,
Because that way it just gives us some time. We can look at the book,
sure.
you know,
While I'm here, just a quick update on 2 others.
okay.
Cemetery, that one's due at the end of April. It's also an OPRD grant.
Okay,
It's $8,000. And so for the $8,000, maybe we can fix the fence. Because a lot of the other stuff, Terry's got someone who's donating equipment to push the stump piles up the hill off the area that we want to develop. And then that same guy would do the grading. And he has put it out there that he would donate this for 2 plots, I think.
In our cemetery fund, we should have some money there, correct?
Yeah, we get a little bit.
Yeah,
We don't budget to spend a lot each year.
yeah.
Right.
I think we have 4 or 5,000 to carry over.
I think it was like
Yeah.
5.
I don't think that's what we made for the logging when we did that.
Yep.
Okay.
And then the other one, Resilience Hub grant,
Hmm,
got everything we need. Having a hard time connecting with the person who said I needed to get it to him, so I'm gonna keep trying to them.
okay.
And I actually looked up on email and, I think I have her email address now, so I will send that stuff to her.
So everything's ready to go on that one.
Yeah, and that one's, we were awarded 25 grand. And if you remember, it was OTEC that did the application and, or was it emergency management?
I think it was emergency, right?
Yeah, I think you're right. I keep thinking it's OTEC. And so that was for the generator, a transfer switch, and then, we have to connect to the propane tank to make it run.
Okay.
All right?
And then I have a question on your cemetery. The guys that are gonna come up and volunteer the equipment and stuff, the city doesn't have to furnish fuel, or do they? Like we've done
Haven't
before.
talked about that.
Well, that's something that needs to be brought forward.
Sure. Yes. And if you remember, you guys did in the workshop or in council meeting, I forget.
Mhm.
You did say that you'd be willing to, and I think John piped up and others piped up that, yeah, we'll spend the money for Terry to come, bring his barbecue, and he'll barbecue hamburgers and hot dogs and stuff for a youth group
Yeah.
that will come and do the cleanup.
Okay, but does that date work at all? The
24th.
The 24th?
This for me.
Well, we'll make it tentative, Matt, until you check with your scheduler.
Yeah, so the 24th?
Yeah. So we will table this until for possibility if it changes, I'll let everybody know. Okay, moving on. One thing I had to add on here is, Tim's cross connection training has expired, so he needs to take his online class next week. I'm gonna help him get signed on. It's required. It's gonna cost $200 for training.
All day, isn't it? That's
6 hours.
6 hours.
On the computer, I'll set him up in here on a computer. So I would entertain a motion to approve the training, the cross connection training.
I'll make a motion to approve the cross connection training.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that's set up. And then just an update. Grants, the wastewater grant, we just got our paperwork to go ahead and go forward with the design project. It's a 515,000, 100% grant design to upgrade the wastewater. We're gonna go ahead and file the paperwork because they want us to be in the queue in case the funds actually really do get released. So I'm gonna go ahead and move that forward. Okay, on to, old business, ADA curbs.
Don't trip over that.
Okay, I called the lady and said, council had a little concerns about your installation of ADA curbs that go nowhere. Who's liable for them? Do you care if you plow them up or what? And the gal I'm talking to is just, she's doing the paper, so she's gonna set up a conference call with me for the person who designed these. So I know you guys had concerns. Was there any specific concerns we had other than it's a waste of money?
Well, the concern was, most of them are the round curve where they're flat, they elevate up. Are they gonna make a solid pad there and then bring backfill in to grade up to it? What is their intent? Because it's not like we have a sidewalk coming off. That was our biggest thing, was the trip hazard, what's their remedy for on the backside of the concrete pad?
Yeah, because our playing field is flat,
Right.
to where there is no trip hazard as of today.
That's
And they're
what-
getting ready to make one.
If they install it at existing grade level, it would be fine.
Mhm.
If they elevate it, then that's gonna be an issue.
And I guess the other thing, I kind of read this and it's kind of a gray area. If somebody did trip on it, who is really
Liable.
liable?
Yep.
Okay. Because they're gonna call me next week and we're gonna go over some of this contract stuff, so.
Yeah, because basically they're installing a hazard.
Or if it gets plowed up,
Right.
it's not our, what happens if it gets plowed up. So I will get those answers and bring this back to council finally for some resolution next council meeting. Okay, Daryl, council comment.
Wasn't, now that I think of it too, wasn't there a concern with who's liable for moving the fire hydrant? Should we need to move the fire hydrant?
They shouldn't have to do
Didn't
that
we
fire hydrant.
say something about that though?
I'll ask them.
Typically, they work around it.
Okay, yeah, there's a lot of concerns there, so we'll see if I can get some answers for everybody. Okay, councilor comment, Daryl. Marcia?
I'm good.
I gave everybody that OGEC training paperwork, if you all have time to go. That's all I have. Harold?
No.
Yep. Have a comment? Hi, Matt.
I'm good for the 24th.
Oh, okay.
Just go right back to you.
Yep, John.
What time?
Excuse me for not standing. The
Oh,
Jeep Club is coming up the 11th, 12th, and 13th, and as normal, we would like to do a community breakfast for them on the morning of the 12th, and I'm asking council's permission to use the, community center.
the 11th and 12th, you said?
Yeah, they're coming in on Friday, the 11th, they do the breakfast on the 12th, then they go off on their little things, and then by the 13th, they're gone, they head home on Sunday usually.
That's already coming up.
Yes.
So it's Christmas.
April.
That's April, not March, April.
April.
Yeah, April 12th. Yeah.
Hey, does anybody have a problem with that?
No.
No.
I guess we have a motion to approve the use of community center for the Jeep Club and breakfast.
I make a motion to approve the Jeep Club's breakfast on the 12th and for the public to.
I'll second
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Thank you. And Linda, one other thing, council talked about a new sign up at the grounds. They're on the corner, the one that's kind of buried behind the tree now.
Mhm.
Lila won a $150 gift certificate from Oregon Trail, at the poker run. And we'd like to kick that in, and what I'd like council to consider, you guys go ahead and design the sign, between our donation of that gift certificate and, the volunteers. I'll take it to the volunteers. I think we should be able to take care of a new sign up there on that corner.
Yeah, we're working on all that signage with
Okay.
Baker. So we're working with them
Okay.
because.
Well, if nothing
take some
else,
money
we'll
off
kick
of
the 150 in, but I think the volunteers can help with the rest of it too,
it.
Linda.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Question for you.
Yeah,
Ron took off that old beat up screen door and he said that he thought the volunteers could replace the new screen door for us.
out here,
Yeah.
no, I know, there's something missing. Somebody bring it to the meeting this Thursday,
Okay.
2 days,
I'll
you
tell
know,
Ron to
yeah.
bring that up at the
Ron,
meeting.
bring it up, sure,
Fly season's
there'll
coming.
be no problem.
Our air conditioning going.
You like leave the door open to the screen. It's weird.
John Patterson.
On the, workshops,
Yes,
is there some minutes so you know what the workshops were about?
Yeah.
You had 3 workshops, and
yeah, they were all posted.
where?
All the same places we post everything, John.
You can get it online for people that aren't out of
I
town.
don't, did we post them? I guess we did post those. No, well, we've kind of been under the situation of having nobody to do the website. Now we do. So, now we do.
Saying there's a lot of people with interest in the town that aren't here all the
Okay,
time.
but no, we posted all the workshop stuff, yes.
In the 3
In the
places,
3
yeah. We
places.
just haven't had.
And now that, Lindy's had 1 week of training, we'll have her put everything on the website.
We looked at the post office, there's nothing there that says what happened to what the workshop was about.
Well, it says on the posting what the workshop's about. It says playground, I don't have one here, playground equipment.
But I mean, I'm talking more about, that and the outcome, like what
Well,
was the?
no, we don't post
don't
the
post
minutes up.
Hmm?
We don't post the minutes, we post the agenda.
Mhm.
That's all we post is the agenda. For requirements.
So that's what I'm saying, how do you know what happened? Like the service hook up?
Okay, well, we can.
Well, we have.
minutes are
Yes,
available.
but we won't post it.
Two at a time, I can't hear everybody.
The minutes are available.
Where?
You walk
There's a
up and
book
ask,
inside.
walk up and ask her about the minutes.
You have to pay for them, right?
No, not minutes.
Oh.
Are they still being
posted on the city website?
They will be. That's the problem. They haven't been, because I don't do the website. So now we have somebody that's getting trained on doing the website.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's on my list.
It's been a transition, guys.
In 2 years.
Yeah. Anybody else?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second motion.
Aye.
All in favor?
Alright.
Yeah, we're adjourned at 4:45.